Hello everyone, welcome to the second video of our WSO2 APIM 3 video series. In today's video, we are going to talk about how you can secure a REST API with mutual TLS. So in this video, I will cover these steps. First, we will be generating a public and private key pair, and then we will attach that public key to an API, and finally we will invoke that API using the public and private key. Now let's see how we can do that. Like I mentioned, let's start with generating a key pair. So for that, I'm going to use this OpenSSL command. You can see the complete command here. So this command will generate this private key and this public certificate. So when you run this command, it will ask a couple of information from you. So I'm going to input those. Now if you see this, you will see that two files have been created like this. This is the public key and this is the private key. Now let's go to the second step, which is attaching the public certificate to our API. So if you remember, in the previous video we created this library API, so I am going to use the same API for the today's video as well. If you go to the runtime configuration of this API, you can see this transport level security section, and when I expand this, you can see this mutual SSL configuration, which is not enabled by default. So I'm going to enable that for this particular API, and then you can see there are two options, mandatory and optional. For this API, I want mutual SSL to be mandatory. Therefore, I'm going to select this, and then I can attach a public certificate here. So I click this, and then I give an alias, and from here I can attach the certificate. So I have my certificate here. Before save that, I have to attach a business plan as well. So in this case, I'm going to go with the unlimited business plan and then save it. Before I save the entire thing from here, there's one more thing I need to do. That is, you can see this application level security. If I open that, you can see this WSO2 security is also mandatory. So that means we have mutual SSL mandatory as well as WSO2 mandatory. That means to access this API, I need to provide my certificates as well as an WSO2 token. But for this API, I don't want WSO2 security for this API. Therefore, I'm going to make this optional. So now I should be able to access this API only with my private key and public certificate. Now I am going to save this. There is one more thing that you should know about this. That is, even though I attach this certificate, it does not install to the system right away. It takes up to 10 minutes to be installed to the system. That's because this installation happens through a periodic task. That task run in every 10 minutes. But if you want to change this value, there's a configuration that you can change so that you can change this value to a some other value that you prefer. Right, so after 10 minutes, let's try to invoke this API. Now, after 10 minutes, I'm going to access the API. First of all, I'm going to access this API without any certificates or keys. Then you can see, let's run with V option. So you can see what I get is a 401 unauthorized response. So it does not allow me to access this API without the certificates or private key. Now let's try to invoke that with certificate and the private key. Here you have to provide the public certificate with the cert parameter and the private key with the key parameter. And if you invoke this, you will get the response like this. So what we did in this video was we secured our API with mutual TLS, and then we invoked it using the public key and the private key. So with that, we come to the end of this video. If you have any questions, you can ask in the comment section. So let's meet in the next video. Until that, have a good time. Thank you.